It's the 17th of August. Hundreds of thousands of Israeli citizens have taken to the streets of Tel Aviv, the economic capital of the Israeli state. Their demand? They call on the government to cut a deal with Palestinian resistance forces that would get the hostages released. I want you to understand something. Western media isn't covering the overall climate in Israel right now, but that's why I'm here to fill in the gap, to provide the news without the Western spin. That's why I'm sitting here in my home office at 11 p.m. on a Sunday, not resting with my family. I want you to know. I feel like it's my obligation. Now, straight in. Israel has a population of 10 million people. Do you know how urgent, how important an issue must be for the citizens of that country, for several hundred thousand people to come out into the streets in a country that is so small, only 10 million strong? The public order situation is extremely unstable, relatively speaking. Police arrested several protesters, 30 to 40 last I read from Israeli news sources even, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the protests, saying it could harden the stance of Palestinian resistance groups turning, if they see that Israeli citizens are turning on their government in opposition to current policy and decision making by the Israeli state. Now that's the news. Here's the analysis. Buckle up for this one. I predict that the storm is coming. It's closer than most would say. Literally a couple of months ago, I predicted that after round one with, I'm not sure I said round like that, after round one with Iran, Israel versus Iran, I said in the next 3 months you can expect round two to pop off. Just on time. I really feel like it might pop off now, looking at the sources that I have access to and analyzing public sources, by the way. Not because the first time went well. That's not why Israel would go in for a round two. It didn't go well, factually. Strategically, Israel's war goals, overt and the secret ones, were not achieved. Though to save face, they've resorted to much mental gymnastics, saying that, yeah, Iran's nuclear program was held back, or pushed back, rather. Sorry, we'll get into that in another video. I've covered it extensively, in fact. But the Israeli state, they are likely, by my assessment, heading into round two out of desperation. It's now or never, you see. Iran is shoring up their defenses. China is in conversations with the Persian fortress nation for more defenses, potentially fighter jets, potentially other technology. And every month Israel delays an attack on Iran, a renewed attack, means Iran is better prepared. Their allies or their aligned state and non-state actors in the Middle East region are more prepared. Every month delay means America may be less and less willing to step in on Israel's side. It's not looking good. The longer they leave it off, it's not looking good for them. And internally, Israel's government is running out of runway. What was thought once to be an unlimited runway, there is no end in sight. A pool of diplomatic currency for the self-described Jewish state. They thought, I've got unlimited diplomatic currency like Nando's, bottomless drinks, bruv. Turns out it's not bottomless. There is a bottom. They've reached it. It's not unlimited diplomatic currency after all. Even among traditional allied nations of Israel, found almost exclusively in the Western world, even amongst them, the nation I live in, for example, the United Kingdom, even amongst these nations, Israel has found the cold shoulder for once in flipping their entire history, right? The entire Israeli history. They've never felt a colder shoulder, right? All these nations are promising to recognize Palestine now. That's got Israel absolutely losing their mind, right? Nations like the UK, France, Germany are looking to end weapons sales to Israel in response to the engineered crisis in Gaza. Do you know how big a body blow to the Israeli state that is, to hear that your Western allied nations are, drifting away from you? If not completely looking away from you, at least their gaze is now, drifting. It's wandering. That wandering gaze is calamitous to the Israeli state. Time is running out, and Israel will be more isolated later than it is right now. That's potentially their analytical assessment. That's my analytical assessment. Here is, by my assessment, the Israeli government's gambit. This is what they plan to do. This is their dice roll that's coming up. Initiate round two with Iran. Then try to pull America in. Use the conflict you initiated to overthrow the Iranian regime, balkanize the state into a fragmented, hopeless mess of, warring smaller groups and militias, or install the son of the former Shah of Iran, who is very chummy with Israel already. Look him up, former Shah of Iran's son. He is this Shah/king wannabe who's talking about how Iran's people should rise up against their own government and then somehow, align themselves with Israel. This man is, anyway, it's a risky gambit for Israel. But although high in risk, it's also high in reward if Israel succeeds, you see. That's why they're considering it. That's why it's plausible. That's why I think it's likely they're going to pull the trigger on this gambit, this attempt. You see, if they succeed, Iran, the first and only bastion of resistance to Israel and US backed domination of the Middle East region, that Iran will be cut down to size. And Israel will make sure, to the best of their ability, using their technology, using their surveillance, using their intelligence and subterfuge, sabotage and infiltration capabilities, to the best of the Israeli state's ability, they will make sure that after Iran is cut down to size, they can never again rise up to oppose the Israeli state. Israel failed in round one. After 12 days, they agreed. Some say they themselves asked or begged for a ceasefire. It depends on the framing you want to use. Now, a winner does not agree to a ceasefire after 12 days if they're winning. Where have I heard that on Western news sources? Why are they not talking about it? Oh, because they've got the stupid Western spin going on. That's why I'm here on a flipping Sunday night. It's 11:30. Anyway, Israel failed round one, but the Israeli government may try again for round two, a second desperate gambit to set the region on fire in the hope that in the chaos, in the smoke, in the fire, they can forge a greater Israel and secure the strategic depth they need to indefinitely survive as a state, even if the US then exits the region to face off against Zhongguo, China. Israel's assessment is clear. This is my sort of analysis. This is not fact based. This is not, well, it's fact based, but it's not a fact. Israel's assessment, though, is clear. Even if it's not reliable that they can win, the assessment, the mission is clear. Start a fight, get the US involved, hope Iran's government collapses under the pressure, and then you set the Israeli state up in a position much more solid for the coming years and the decades. You see, I'll wrap it up here. There are 5 regional powers in the Middle East that you need to know about. Israel, and then 3 nations in the middle, each to varying degrees under America's sphere of influence. And therefore, they're not particularly harmful to Israel at this moment in time. They're not open enemies, right? So 5 regional powers: Israel, US aligned Saudi Arabia, US aligned Turkey or Turkey, US aligned Egypt. The last one, the 5th regional power, and the first and only bastion of opposition to Israel, is the Islamic Republic of Iran. For Israel to secure its future, Iran must fall. For the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one.